7:15, almost 7:16. Bob Zadora's here.
Yes, sir.
How many awards you get last week?
We did very well last week. Actually, we received our.
I saw that convoy of tractor trailers rolling in.
There was I know there's some stuff on Facebook. I don't Facebook, so I don't know how well that works. But we were recognized by our peers, and
there you go.
And it was very nice. It was a nice event, and went to the track. My yearly sabbatical to the track, and
meaning Oakland.
Oakland, yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. And we
around here that means which NASCAR track?
Yeah, that's true. So I was thinking about it. Speaking of that, I got a really nice track in Yellville that really needs some new management in there. So if you're of the like mind, think, boy, I've always wanted to do that. You know, I could do that.
That's a good little dirt track.
I could help. It's a great little dirt track. So please give me a call, and we'll see what we can do to help get you in there. That'd be a good thing. But we went to Oakland, and Jewel presented the winning horse for the Century 21 Brokers Council, sponsored one of the races.
Good.
And a number of us got out on the track to meet the jockey and see the horse and give it's like a dish type thing, like a plate that they give to the owner of the horse. It's pretty cool. Cool. Food was good. Event was good. We had a good time.
Everything was good.
Yeah. Linda had taught a class on photography there and received rave reviews, and that was very nice. It was.
I can understand.
Yeah, well, that's partly why, you know, and yeah. So it was a good event. The weather was good. We had some different restaurants and stuff. So that's always a good thing.
Been a long time since I've been to Hot Springs. 5 or 6 years.
It's a nice little town.
Yeah, about no longer than that. Yeah, but about 10 years down there. Yeah.
Some of it's still a little dated, you know. You get down the Bathhouse Row and stuff, but there's other things going on there now. It's stepping up a little bit. There's some nice golf courses and stuff down there. I know that.
Really?
Yeah. And the lakes are right there.
Yeah, nice part of the state.
Yes, sir. It is. It is.
So what's going on in real estate these days? I bet you guys are just
we had signs
everywhere.
We came back, and we had a very, very good week this week. Stuff under contract and stuff closing, and
well, even this time last week, you were very busy getting prepared to do some closings.
And so you can see the trend is definitely heading upwards, and that's a good sign to be this early in the year and to see it from last year. And last year was better than the year before, and that's what you want. You just want a steady rise. You don't want that meteoric, space shot type stuff, because
you get anybody from Boston wanting to get out of all the snow?
We get calls from and emails from the East Coast, where people are looking and thinking that this is it. We can't take it anymore. Generally, the East in general, and obviously not all inclusive. Generally, they have a tendency to stay more in the Carolinas.
Carolinas
and that type of area, or halfway in between there and Florida, because they don't want to go all the way down. But with Sandy a couple of years ago, with the hurricane, it caused so much damage, a lot of people just never rebuilt, and they moved down into those areas. So some of that property is becoming pretty pricey. So we're getting people from the East Coast that are starting to look this way a little more. They're looking into the Ozarks. They're looking into the Smoky Mountains. Because they want to get away from that. They're trying to get away. People still that are winter Yankees that have had winter. They still like the idea of winter. They just don't like quite that much winter. They don't want 8 feet of winter. They want you want a couple of days, kind of like we had. We had snow for a week and a half, and
too long,
and it's gone. It's just the idea of having it. So really a week ago, this was a mess out here.
It was.
It was all ice. The parking lot was a wreck, and of course, it was light last week when we came we were here. This week, not so much.
But we got to tip our hat to the road crews.
Oh, they did
city, county, and state.
Great job. Yeah. They got out there and got on it, and it was unusual because the one time you had snow and then ice on top of it, and then a week later you had the ice and then the snow. It's like So they're dealing with different things every time they go out, and they've done a great job. Marion County, Baxter County,
good job.
Yeah, very, very pleased with the work that got done. I want to thank Pat Ekman from our office who helped us get a deal closed this week, and I want to give a shout out to First Security Bank, who was in the office dropping some stuff off, and they took my deposit. I said, I said, here's my, I said, can you take and deposit this check for me? Oh, yeah, sure. So I just signed the check and gave it to them in the office, and they hand carried it back to their branch to put it back in. So the bank up here by Harps, the North, whatever, however it is, they define that one. They're the best, and I want to thank them for that. We were talking when they were in and sitting around the office, the commercial properties that sell in this market. And we generally think of Century 21 as a residential company because that's most of the focus nationwide and such. It seems to be on that, selling houses. And that's the real estate market's biggest thing is, in fact, selling residential homes. It's not necessarily land or commercial property, but that is a big part of the market. And you should keep that in mind if you're thinking about listing or buying and you're interested in commercial properties, that Century 21 does a great job with that segment of the market. And we can help you to find the correct commercial property that will help you either enlarge your business or get your business off the ground. Give us a call and keep us in mind when you're thinking about such things. Like I say, you may think about us for houses, but we are a multifaceted company, and we're multifaceted agents, obviously, as well. But just something to keep in mind for Century 21 for commercial properties. And land, land kind of sells at its own pace. It depends on where it is and what it's going to be used for and how big it is or how small it is sometimes. Sometimes they could be too big when you're trying to figure out prices per acre and stuff, but just in general to keep Century 21, we were just by a hair beaten by Jonesboro for the number one company in the state for Century 21. But we were the number one company last year, and that's a much different size market in Jonesboro than it is over here. And when you look at the size of our market and the volume that we as a company...
But it's flat and dry with mosquitoes over there.
Yes, it is, but there's a lot more industry there. There's a lot more going on in the schools and medical and everything else on a much larger scale than we've got here. So Jewel has done a great job and has kept us in line in a lot of ways, and it helped add to the event to know that we, as a company, did so well.
That's good.
That is a good thing.
That's good.
This week, there were 37 new listings came on, 11 parcels of land and 2 commercial properties. That's commercial again. 24 homes came on the market, and they came on in a range of $15,000 to $925,000. The average price coming on the market was $195,000. With 21 sales this week, 2 parcels of land sold, 19 homes sold. And those 19 homes sold from $20,000 to $234,000. Average sale price was $124,000. The average listed price when they came on the market was $136,000. 176 days on market. That's about where we're at. We're in that 6-month range as an average. There's 78 pendings. There's like 58 of those are houses. 30 properties expired. 40 properties had price changes this week. That's
how many?
40, and that's like double of what it was last week. So as we come into this spring market and people are starting to move, and we're seeing, like I noticed Illinois and Louisiana, I've seen a bunch of out-of-state plates here in town. I mean, you can see it when you go out. If you go out at lunchtime and try to cross 62 with, where there isn't a light, you can really tell how many more people are in town. So going into this spring season, if you're one of the homes that you expired in January and you weren't sure what you were going to do, give us a call. Let us see what we can do to help get you sold this time instead of just being listed. And you can tell by these price reductions that other people are aggressively trying to sell their homes. There's only so many that are going to sell compared to the number that's on the market. So it's presentation, and then hitting the right price point to get them sold. And that's very, very important. There's 878 homes listed on the MLS. 390 in Mountain Home, 48 in Bull Shoals, 59 in Lakeview, 11 in Cotter. Last year, there were 102 sales year to date for $12 million. For this year, there's 126 sales for $14.3 million.
You're already at 14.3.
We're already at 14.3, so we're 2 million more
What did
than
you close last year? 103, 107, something like that.
Yeah. So we're already 2 million over last year, but we're 24 more homes have sold year to date. So, like I said, that's not land or commercial properties or anything else. That's just houses. So it's ticking upward, obviously. Using Mountain Home as an example, there was been 79 sales this year, and there were 61 last year.
Wow.
So it's
wow.
The market is
it's improving in this
improving part. In this in our market here. Mm-hmm. It will get prices up as some of this works its way out, and in some types of homes we're seeing a movement up, and others no. I mean, it really depends on the house, where it is, and what the comps are. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to come. I don't pick these numbers. There actually is a science to this. And so when we come on and we tell you this is about where you're going to be, that is about where you're going to be. Now, you can not believe in me and say, okay, thanks for coming. That's great. In 3 years from now, when you sell at less than what that number that we gave you was, nobody ever calls and says that, though. Nobody
Do you ever call and say, "Told you so"?
As tempting as that may be, no, we don't. We're here to make people smile. I mean, there was a picture in the paper the other day of us selling the White River Campground, and all of us standing underneath the sign, and everybody's smiling and happy, and that's a great thing. Yeah, that's the whole idea, is that everybody's smiling. I live here. I don't want to be hiding from people. Walking through the Isle of Harps and stuff going, that's that guy. I want people to come up, and I've had people come up and put their arm around me and say, hey, this is my realtor. Boy, what a great job. What a great job. So we appreciate that. So give us a call, 870-405-0793. Come on our website, take a look, see what we can do for you. RetireToArkansas.net.
I've been enjoying the pictures all morning.
It's a
beautiful,
great tool that can help you sell your home.
Bob and Linda Zadora, the Z Team at Century 21 LeMac Real Estate for all your real estate needs. 405-0793. Time for the news. We'll be right back.